What's up, fellow JDM fan boys and fan girls? So I just picked up this Mitsubishi Bravo Route 66 version. So it's kind of like the Americanized version of some kind of K van in Japan. America. Pretty cool. It's got an eagle on the side of it. Super pumped. Kind of reminds me of like those touring vans in the US. I am in the US. Kind of like the touring vans over here. Just kind of have like the body kits on them, and they're just like the Ford Econoline vans or something, and they just make them look comfortable for just driving around the country in. This is kind of what that reminds me of a little bit, with the tan and the black. It's got wood grain inside, this like blinged out chrome grill and the little lip, and it's actually got a wing, which is super cool because I love a good wing on a van. So anyways, I just picked this thing up on Friday. I imported it using MKT Japan, and I actually I purchased it back in November. So this is a 1998 with the birthday of like May 2nd or something like that. So I could not import it until May 2nd or after, obviously, because 25-year rule. So this year, 2023, anything with a year, production year of 98, they're gonna start rolling into the States, because it's legal. If you're in Canada or what other places, rules are different, but in America, 25-year rule. So this is she's pretty young for being over here, being a 98. I mean, just hit 25 years. So I'm super stoked on this. The whole process was super smooth, and obviously sending your money to Japan, waiting on a car that you can't have even shipped out for 6 months was a little stressful, but obviously I stay busy with other things, so it kind of slipped my mind. And then I'm like, oh shoot, we're coming up on the birthday for this van, so I better get ready. So I did, unfortunately, I did sell my blue KS4 sandbar truck to someone local, so hopefully I'll see it cruising around, and I have a good feeling this guy's going to take pretty good care of it. And that's my main concern, is I cared about all my trucks. Obviously I take very good care of them, so I think it's important that if anybody does happen to pick up one of mine, they better take care of it, or I'm taking it back. I'm kidding, that would be stealing, but anyways, I think he's going to take good care of it, so I was stoked on that deal. Wasn't looking to sell, but it just came up. This was coming, so it was just like, man, I'm running out of space. I should probably get rid of something, but I can't complain having too many K cars, but it just gets to be tough to maintain all of them and show them an equal amount of love and attention driving them. It gets a little overwhelming sometimes. So that blue truck, I didn't really drive it that much. It just kind of sat. I did, start it and drive it every once in a while just to keep stuff happy, but I just didn't really drive. I think it had 144,000 kilometers on it when I sold it, and I picked it up at 140,000 kilometers. So I only put 4,000 kilometers on it in a little over a year. So I hardly drove that thing. So anyways, I got this, and that's what I was super excited, and I've been waiting for quite some time now. So I thought, let's do a little video to show you the Mitsubishi Bravo in case you're in the market for picking up a van from Japan. Maybe you have a truck and you want a van, and you need a little push to get yourself a van, and you're not sure which van to get. I mean, the sandbar vans are great. Obviously, I'm a huge sandbar person. I love the sandbars. The Honda Active van is a great van too. I have one of those, and now I have a Mitsubishi Bravo van. Route 66 version, which there's just normal Bravos out there. This is just a special edition, if you will, for this Bravo. So I'll go over the stuff on this one, and so you get an idea, at least on this van, if you're deciding to go with a Bravo or not. Let's kind of take a little walk around and check it out. Okay, so let's get a little bit closer look. This is really cool. It's got the Route 66 emblem. It's not a sticker, it's like an actual emblem that pops out. It's got the cool chrome grille. It's got the fog lights, which is really, really nice. Anything that comes with fog lights, I'm super stoked on. And Cali mirrors. The Route 66 comes with Cali mirrors, which is great on the vans because they're a little bit bigger. So super cool that they came with the Cali mirrors. I don't think all Bravos come with Cali mirrors, obviously. It's probably just a Route 66 version maybe that came with Cali mirrors, but I'm 99% sure you could buy Cali mirrors and put them on any Bravo, just like the sandbars. Has a cool Route 66 decal on the side. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it. I might take it off and just run black, which, I mean, look at this black, this paint. This paint is incredible. I buffed it, ceramic coated it, and I've only had it for like a day. I've been working pretty hard getting this thing cleaned up. But we might take that eagle off and just leave the Route 66 on there, so it still has that Route 66 vibe. Look at this spoiler. That was what kind of sold me, was the spoiler. Vans look so much better when they got the spoilers on them. I mean, there's that one, and then my kind of see my little sandbar Diaz with the spoiler I made. Just looks so cool with the spoilers. Okay, so here's the trim in the back. Bravo Route 66. Nice chrome going around the back. The exhaust, cool exhaust tip. I don't know if that tip comes on all the Bravos, but it's a little fancy exhaust tip for you. 13-inch wheels, just like anything else, but check this out. This is my favorite thing. I know, I'm geeking out over something really dumb. Coils. This thing's got coils in the back. So if we want to lower it, all I got to do is get lowering springs, which I am going to lower it. So I'll get the lowering springs and we'll drop this thing. I got some Sparcos, 15-inch Sparcos. Put 15-inch Sparcos on here. The only bummer is these tires are shot. They're all cracked. So I can't really drive it a whole lot because I don't want them to explode. But yeah, these tires are wasted. But everything else coming from MKT Japan is great. I mean, the inside is very clean. It had seat covers that I threw in the washing machine. Had some really cool black and white checkered seat covers that said Bravo, so they're obviously an OEM style seat cover. An OEM seat cover, I should say. But I'm washing them, so right now we're just running the tan and the black, and as Scott, or Special K's, would say, looks like a Rottweiler. But I mean, it's got the really nice floor mats back here. I mean, the back is super spacious. And check this out. This is really cool too. So this comes up and then goes like such. So now you have that. And then you take this guy right here. And now you can lay down the back completely. Still have all my documents in here from yesterday. So you're like, oh man, I'm really tired. I'm really tired from driving around my cake car all day. I think I want to take a nap. So you can lay the back down. You got these cool handlebars, so if you got passengers back here, it's like a roller coaster ride. They can just hang on to these. There's no seat belts, obviously. And that's the thing too. If you want to import one of these vans, they're not passenger vans. And as far as the Port of Tacoma goes, you're gonna get hit with a 25% tax duty fee on it. It will not pass for a 2.5% because it does not have back seat belts. And we talked to the guy yesterday and he's like, it's gonna be across the board. It doesn't matter. If it doesn't have anchor points for a seatbelt, you're gonna get hit with a 25% duty, which sucks. Cause I mean, it went from $640 to $1,600 when I brought this thing over here. Because we imported it as a passenger van and then Customs saw it and they're like, no, it's a cargo van, 25%. And yes, I know there's guys out there, they're like, oh, I brought in a van and I only got hit with 2.5%. You got lucky. Or at least maybe they weren't hurting for money that day, but the port in Tacoma is, I feel like they're kind of cracking down on passenger vans because they don't have anchor points for the seat belts in the back. So you're gonna get hit with the 25%. So just keep that in mind if you're gonna import a K van. And he brought up an example. He's like, well, why don't you just, if you want a van, import a Delica. They have back seat belts. Well, yeah, but that defeats the whole purpose of bringing over a K van. I don't want a full-size van. So just be ready. You may get lucky, but I have a feeling you're not gonna get lucky and you're gonna get hit with 25% duty. They really need to change the rule because this clearly is not a cargo van. It was never made for a cargo van. Don't tell me that this touring van, Route 66 style van, was used for cargo. As far as passengers go, yeah, it's not very safe because there's no seatbelts in the back, but don't put people in the back. Simple as that. I'm not gonna put anybody back here. It's not safe. I mean, there's no seatbelts. But anyways, rant over. But that's really cool. Seats completely fold down. So you could kind of use this as like a cool little, maybe little overland vehicle, because it is this one is a U44V. So it is a full-time all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, but it has high and low. So you can kick it into low four-wheel drive if you go off-roading, but otherwise it stays in high four-wheel drive normally. But yeah, very cool. All the seats lay down. At least in this version, I'm not sure if all Bravos are like that. I'm not a Bravo expert yet. I'm just kind of learning what I've got so far. In the past, I've had this thing for a day now. I got it here on Friday and it's now Saturday. So I just changed the oil in it today. I made a video on that. And then I was like, it was raining, but we got some clear, I mean, it's not clear skies, but we cleared up for a little bit on the rain part. So I figured I would just shoot a little video showing you guys because I'm just super excited about this. And if you're looking for a van, so far, this is a good, this one's a runner-up on the sandbar, and I'll tell you why in a second. So let's see. You got your Cali mirrors, obviously, the cool fold-down seats. Okay, here we go. Here's the cool part too. Wood grain. What is going on? Wood grain. So it's not real wood. It's plastic, but it looks like wood grain. So that's super trick in itself. Wood grain, fog lights, which is really cool. So I could turn these on, and it kind of had us confused at first. But as soon as you hit the fog lights, it turns on just the running lights. So you could technically just drive around with your fog lights on because it turns your running lights and the fog lights on. So that's really cool. You don't have to have the headlights on like a normal car. You got to have those headlights on before you turn on fog lights. The rear gate locks and unlocks electronically, so you don't have to have a key like the sandbars usually is with a key. This one, clearly it has air conditioning, which blows really cold. Right now I just have the tape deck, so kind of cool. Maybe if I could find the tape adapter to run into the iPhone or something, but I think I'll end up just putting in the old school style radio that I did in the Honda that I made a video on that just kind of keeps that old school vibe. So 5-speed manual, like a Sandbar or an Acti. I think the Actis are 5 speeds. So here's our full-time 4-wheel drive. It's on high right now, so you can flick it up into low or put it into high. So obviously high is when you're normally driving it. What's cool is it has 2 speakers already in each door, so that's nice. Nobody smoked in it. Clean ashtray. Let's see. Let's check the. Oh, I could be wrong. Looks like someone maybe smoked in here. Doesn't smell like cigarette smoke at all. Pretty big glove box, which is nice. All the Sandbars and Actis have terrible glove boxes. That has a pretty good size glove box. Let's see what else we got. Nothing fancy down here, but this thing has power steering. It is not electronic power steering like most K cars are. It's mechanical. So it's got a pump and fluid reservoir and everything. So super pumped on the power steering, and I'll show you right now. So obviously I can't really turn it right now. Starts right up. I mean, I touched the key. Now look at that. Power steering, man. I'll tell you what, power steering seems a little ridiculous on K cars because they're really small, but it feels good to have that power steering because you don't struggle at all. Okay, so the only bummer is seats pretty gross. I'm gonna try cleaning it up a little bit more, but it had the seat covers that were the black and white checkered seat covers. I threw them in the wash again, so I'm washing them. So it covered this up, so you don't really see it. I did clean some of it off right here. You can see I started getting it, so I'll probably keep working at that. But the seat covers are really cool, so I think I'm just gonna leave the seat covers on anyways. Okay, so I spent all yesterday and all morning cleaning this thing up, vacuuming it. I just put the rag in here because I don't want to get everything dirty. But what's cool is it has floor mats. So, I mean, it really just probably depends on your trim package. Like the Sandbars don't really come with anything, but I feel like the Sandbar van is really roomy. This one is extremely roomy. Scott, Special K's, he's a big dude. He was in the passenger seat yesterday and he's like, dude, there's so much room in the cab. And not to mention, the roof is really high. I feel like this roof is higher than most of the other ones. So you have a ton of headroom and just a ton of leg space. I mean, let's see. So, I mean, I'm not very tall, but I mean, let's see. I've got like a good foot. The roof is almost goofy tall on this thing, but you got a ton of headroom. I mean, a ton of leg space. These seats do slide back and forth, and I don't know if my other ones do this, but these recline. So, I mean, I can set the seat where I want, and this van feels like I'm driving a normal car. There's so much room in this thing. I gotta see if the seats recline in the van. I haven't even tried that in the Sandbar. I thought they were stationary, but these ones definitely recline different positions. So again, there's a little knob right here, so I can slide the seat forward and back. Ton of room. Like I said, Scott's a big dude. He fit in here pretty good yesterday when we were cruising it around. My girlfriend's really small. She had a million inches of space in any direction. Okay, so let's show some other stuff here. What's cool is everything's clear too. The only thing that's amber is that. Oh, and the turn signal. But I mean, these are clear. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna tint these yellow like the other ones, and I'll tint these yellow so it has that like cool JDM look. But that's cool. It's got the clear corners and stuff already. Here's your little, I'm gonna put one of those little road flares in here since it's got the little pocket. Here's the other speaker, which the speaker doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look like a cheap paper one in there. Obviously both windows. Oh yeah, I wanted to show this aspect too. It's got power locks to a certain degree, which is really cool. So one of those like old school styles where you do one on the driver's side and it hits everything. There's your brake fluid reservoir. I'll just show what's going on with the seats and stuff. So bear with me for a second. Okay, so now here's the only bummer part. The engines are underneath the front seats. So I made a video the other day saying, you know, whether or not engines get hot underneath the front seats. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't feel that it gets hot, but it certainly is noticeably hot when you touch stuff around the engine. Obviously, the engine's right underneath the seat. Let's see here. So this is the only bummer, is that working on this thing is gonna be a bit of a headache. Here's your carburetor, obviously your alternator, your air conditioning. The power steering pump is on the other side. Your radiator, your air filter, which is super easy to get to. The only weird thing about this is if you have a Bravo, maybe it's just mine, but this cable, depending on how you touch it, puts tension on the cable on the throttle. So I did a little adjusting because it was idling really high, and then I was joking around with Scott. I'm like, watch this. The second I sit down, it idles down because, you know, it's scared. It doesn't want me to think there's anything wrong with it. And I was joking with Scott, like, oh, it's probably because I'm just sitting on the throttle cable or something. Turns out, yeah, the throttle cable wasn't really anchored down. And then when I did push it down, it was idling really high. So I had to adjust the throttle cable. So that might be a weird thing if you have a Bravo and it idles really high. Touch this thing and see if it's pulling tension on the cable. Again, it just might be mine, but I did some adjusting to fix that so it doesn't idle, because it's supposed to idle at 950, and it was idling at like almost $2,000, so it wasn't right. But again, I was messing with this cable, got it all figured out, just readjusted down here, put it where I wanted it to be, and then readjusted the screw, and now she idles perfect. So yeah, this is the only bummer. I mean, all these vacuum lines, carburetor, it's not like a sandbar where you have direct access. You've got to yeah, it's gonna be interesting to do a belt. Oh, and that's another thing, these fans, they're not electronic on these, they're mechanical as well. So that's a little different than what I'm used to. All the other ones are mechanical radiators, and mechanical. All the other ones are electronic. Sorry, I'm not thinking. And this one's mechanical, so it will run off of the belt. So if you rev it up, it'll be like your old school cars where you rev it up and you hear the fan really spool up. So I don't know how much power it's pulling off of the engine to turn that fan, but that might be worth switching over to electronic someday, so it's a little less drag on the engine. But this engine does not get hot at all. It barely gets up to halfway. I mean, it stays pretty cool. Then again, it's not summer right now, so we'll see how the summer does. But yeah, that's the engine on that side. So let's go to the other side. This is really cool too, this chrome. I'm not much of a chrome fan, but It's really cool. I told Scott, I was like, man, if you're familiar with tires, Vogues, I think all the rappers used to sing about Vogues. They're the white and yellow wall tires. They're very, very expensive. And I thought it'd be cool to do some Vogues put some Vogues on the Bravo, on some 15. Okay, so now let me put this seat back up. Oh, here's a little direction on how to use the seats. So let's fold this back now. And that's another bummer. I'm super clean OCD freak, so working on the engine around the inside is a little stressful because I don't want to get oil and garbage on everything, so you just got to be really careful. Okay, so here we go. This is also a very huge plus for me. We have 1, 2, 3, not 3, but 4 cylinders. So this is a 4-cylinder engine, which is awesome. Most K cars are 3-cylinder. The Sandbar is a 4-cylinder. This engine is very, very, very smooth and very quiet. I made that video about the Sandbar and the engine being in the back because the one guy was saying you could hardly hear it. Blah blah blah. This engine is actually being up underneath your butt. This engine is actually, I feel like it's harder to hear than the Sandbar engine. This thing is so quiet. I told Scott yesterday I had to turn the radio down because I couldn't hear the engine. It's just so crazy. The Sandbar engine is loud and this thing is just super quiet, and you're sitting right on top of this engine. So I'm really happy with this engine and the way that it runs, and it's just the smoothness of it and the quietness of it. Obviously we're going to put an exhaust on it at some point, but if you do get a Bravo and you need to find where your tag is, it's right underneath your passenger seat on the wheel well here. So it's got the motor and all that stuff and the VIN and or the chassis number. But this is what I didn't know it had until yesterday. Power steering. So yeah, super pumped on the power steering. There's the power steering pump right down there. I checked the fluid yesterday and it was still pretty pink, so I think that's pretty good. And then the air conditioning, you can kind of see a little bit of the AC condenser. There's the fan, so the AC condenser is up underneath at an angle, and then here's obviously your radiator, and your overflow tank and your washer fluid tank and GK spark plugs. So like MKT Japan said, it was serviced in Japan before it came over here, which is awesome. Timing belt had been done. I'm pretty sure that's the timing belt. And 64,463. So that was only about 1,000 kilometers ago. A little under 1,000 kilometers ago, the timing belt was changed. So I don't have to worry about the timing belt because god dang. Yeah, I mean, pretty sure you gotta take the radiator out. So that's the one thing. I said I liked the Sandbars because of the convenient aspect of working on the engine. Is it very, 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 very convenient because obviously it's right there in the back. This one, not so convenient. So, man, if you're looking for a Bravo, again, it's in Japan, so it's really hard to tell. But if you can get one that, you know, you have a good feeling that was taken care of and serviced, go for it. But if you don't really know a whole lot about it, that engine does not look like it's going to be a whole lot of fun to work on, for sure. I know guys over here sell them at dealerships for a pretty penny. They're kind of pricey, but at least you know if you buy one over here, it was taken care of, the service did, and you're not buying a jalopy. And I mean, to change the motor on this thing, you have to do it from underneath the car. It's not like a Sandbar where you could come straight out the back, or I don't know. I don't even want to think about it because I mean, this one you basically have to have a lift to get it up off the ground and drop the engine out. Yikes, yeah. Let's not think about that. Cool little cloth, two-tone door panels. Let's take a look underneath. So, here's our exhaust running back. Not a whole lot I can show under there, but I just changed the oil on it and everything was good. Some of the bushings are pretty shot, so I'm gonna do some bushing, replace the bushings, give it a little more stability. Here's the cool exhaust tip. I shines up, I should say. Just got some soot coming out. Ugh. But yeah, cool little exhaust on it. Spare tire. The spare tire stuff, I mean the jack and everything is right underneath the passenger seat. I don't think this, so on the sandbars, these decks come up. I don't think the deck comes up on these things. I think they're pretty much stationary. So on the sandbars, you could really fold stuff down. But let's get back and take a look at it. So we just noticed, like I said, the inside is really tall. The van is pretty tall. It's really hard to tell now, but when we saw him pull it up yesterday, we're just like, man, me and Scott were like, that thing is tall. Like, it's just really tall. Like, it's really got a big, it's a high roof. It's a high roof of all high roofs for sure. But you just got a lot more room inside. A lot more room inside. Look at that. But, yeah, that's all I can think of right now. Yeah, so I'm super excited, super stoked to be working on this one. Really, really fun to drive. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you, but it redlines at $8,000. So this thing, it gets going. It's got a lot of power. I would say it's more comparable to the 4-cylinder sandbar than the Acti for sure, as far as drivability wise in the engine, because it's same size motor. It's just obviously got 4 cylinders, so it's just a lot quieter, a lot smoother. So far I'm really happy with it. Functionality wise is great. So I mean, if I was going to recommend a van, I would obviously recommend a sandbar first, but this Mitsubishi Bravo, as far as the engine and drivetrain goes, I'm happy with it so far. The 4-cylinder, and the quietness of it and how it runs. I know I haven't had it that long to make really definite decisions, but I think I'm going to really enjoy this one. We're going to lower it, put some sparkles on it, we'll put an exhaust on it, and yeah, lots of videos. So if you're in the mood to import something from Japan, I'm more than willing to help you out with some questions. I don't import myself. I mean, I do import myself, but obviously I have help with MKT Japan in Japan, and then I use Sound Brokerage, Gwen at Sound Brokerage here in Washington, which I think she's countrywide, so you don't have to be just in Washington to use her, but she's very knowledgeable, and the process again was seamless. I had a hiccup on my end because I didn't know. I already imported the red Honda van. On the second import, it's $175 each time. First time is free. Second time they start sticking it to you, which sucks, but whatever. It is what it is. So I needed to agree to pay that $175, and then they gave me the ROD number to pick this up at the port. So again, Bravo's good. If you want to get a Bravo, I'll have parts for them. So and I'll make videos, so I'll definitely be able to guide you in working on one of these or finding parts, along with a Honda Acti and the Subaru sandbars. But this one's just, it's so cool looking. It's just so cool. The two-tone. Two-tone and the eagle. And the rear spoiler, rear wing, and it's gonna look so much better lowered with the wheels. But yeah, cool. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. I'll be posting more videos with this, so if you're in the mood to get a Bravo, hopefully I can help you out. Cool. See ya.